Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
O People of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Where's my camera? What happened? Why is it not showing? Okay. Okay, so this hide. Right, that's the one. Okay, so Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is this now? Okay, so welcome to. I just got surprised because of screen's gone smaller now. Let me try this one and see. Is it any better? No, it's not better. I prefer the full screen. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to everybody. This is our usual Saturday show, and I hope I'm going out. Let me just check my sound and see. Let me just check my sound if I'm going out. Yeah, okay. You're not seeing my screen from here actually because I'm using StreamYard. So it's giving me different sizes. It's got the small size, it's got the round size, and it's got 3/4. I played around with my background during the week. So it's not full screen anymore. So that's why I was a bit surprised. I was startled when we started. But anyway, I hope everything's okay. I hope you're good. I'm good as well, alhamdulillah. And back to work tomorrow. Some people, have to get back to work tomorrow. You are. It's your weekend, so you're okay. Okay, fine. Let me just check that layout thing. I think the layout. Cinema layout. I think that's what I did. Oh, no. Anyway, so yes, yeah. Let's get back. I have a few things for you today. A few books that I've been going through, and maybe it'd be good for you to have them. And there's a book, a very nice book called "The Concise Manual of Marriage." Remember, whether it's polygyny, whether it's some first marriage, it's marriage. Yeah, the same laws apply. Yeah, so you need to know about marriage before you get into polygyny. Polygyny is marriage. What is it? It's nothing else. So there is a book called "The Concise Manual of Marriage." It was written by Imam Muhammad ibn Saleh al-Huthaymeen. Yes, Sheikh Uthaymeen, what's her name, wrote this book, and it's very, very interesting. And in there is a chapter that deals with polygyny. Okay, and like I said, the title, the concise manual of marriage, Sheikh Muhammad Ibn Salih al Hussein Uthaymeen. And let's just quickly just go through that chapter that talks about polygyny. Just one second, and we'll see what he says on there. Okay, I've got it downloaded. I need to look for it on the market and buy it, because it's good to have the hard copy and the soft copy as well. Okay, so then satisfaction conditions of marriage. Yeah, it talks about the same thing. I mean, like, if you want to go into one marriage, or if you want to go into two, two, three, four, you still have to go through the wali. He speaks about this. Yeah, he speaks about the actual beauty of a woman and all that. But what I want to go through is the actual polygyny part. Um, yeah. Okay. Permissibility of plural marriage. Okay. So the title here in the book is permissibility of plural marriage, and it's on page 59. Okay. He says here. Okay, section 6 of the book, he says here the permissibility of plural marriage. Oh, I think I forgot to mention something. I forgot to mention that we are broadcasting on O People of the Book, and we are broadcasting also on Consider This TV. So please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, I think that's done. I forgot completely. I got startled when I saw my screen size. I need to still sort that out. I'm not happy with it. I prefer it to be full size, but don't know why I played around with it. But anyway, so yeah, the permissibility of plural marriage. He mentions that in his book now. For an individual to be unrestricted in the number of women which he can wed is a matter that will lead to disorder, oppression, and incapability to fulfill the right of wives. Can you imagine? Yeah. The reason why Allah restricted it is because Allah knows best. Allah knows what is good for us and what is not good for us. And even before Islam, I mentioned this several times, that polygyny was there already. It's not something that Islam came and invented. Islam didn't, like, Prophet ﷺ didn't just land from a different planet and decided, like, he was going to bring polygyny for us. No, that was already there, but there was no laws to govern it. People were doing the way they want, and that, when they want, how they want, or whatever, and there had to be laws. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restricted it to 4. Okay, so Sheikh Uthaymeen here is saying he can wed. For an individual to be unrestricted in the number of women which he can wed is a matter of what will lead to disorder, oppression, and incapability to fulfill the right of wives. Can you imagine in the time of the Sahaba, when they were joining Islam, when Islam was new, there were some Sahaba who had 8 wives or 10 wives. You got 8 days in a week, okay? You got 10 wives. How are you going to fulfill the rounds? Okay, even the 8 days of the week is one day each. Okay, it's one day each. So, like, obviously it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to manage. The Prophet ﷺ had an exception for him. He had an exception for him because he was a prophet. There were things that applied to him and could can't apply to us. There were things that were made specially for him and not for us. So he was able to have more than 4. Yeah. But it would be chaos, if a man was allowed to have more than 4. However, limiting the limiting of the man to one wife only can potentially result in evil and fulfillment of lust through prohibited avenues. Very interesting point here, because when you look at this, right, you see in monogamy, when you look at these Christians, the books that they've read and everything, they've written and everything, you can see books called, like, the myth of polygamy, of monogamy. Sorry, the monogamy that they're into one wife, and then what happens is that they play around. they play around, they like, have affairs here and there. I mean, we've seen so many of it, we've read so many of it, and I've mentioned so much of it in the shows and everything, the recent shows. So we can see that, like, if it was restricted to one only, that could result in evil and fulfillment of lust through prohibited avenues. Okay, the legislator, Shahri, has therefore made multiplicity of wives up to four permissible for mankind. This is permissible for one who is able to establish equity and fairness amongst them by fulfilling their rights, that he might fulfill his need to have more than one lawfully. Okay, so you fulfill the rights of the wives, then you're having your rights fulfilled lawfully. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, then marry other women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. If you fear that you will not be able to deal justly, then only one. I think I've mentioned this before, and like, Allah starts off with 2, 3, or 4. So it was the norm. 2, 3, or 4 was the norm, and it is only like, us who are who bring it to one, because it says here, if you fear that you will not be able to deal justly. So there must have been a time in man that he felt that he cannot deal justly. So what did he do? He actually so he actually restricted it to one. Okay, so that's I think what that's it. I think that's the mistake. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I was looking for. Okay, so now I've got my full screen back now. Yeah, I was playing around with it, and anyway. So the thing is that now, there must have been a time in man where he felt insufficient, he felt inadequate, the man himself, so he cannot make justice. He cannot be equal. So he had to stick to one. Yeah, but the all the books, all the shuyukh, all the people of knowledge and everything, you can see that all of them mention that there should be more than one. That they it was the norm, basically. Okay. Okay. And then certain that was certain Nisa, verse 4, chapter 4, verse 3. In the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man called Ghailan al-Thaqafi. Okay, Ghailan al-Thaqafi, radiallahu an, accepted Islam and had 10 wives. Like I mentioned earlier on, like, we've got 8 days of the week. So if you've got 10 wives, how are you going to go about them? There's going to have to be an overlap somewhere. Yeah, it's going to have to, like, there's going to be some sort of overlaps, or some injustice, or something like this. So he had 10 wives. Okay, and so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered him to choose 4 and separate, divorce the rest. Yeah. He had to, although Allah doesn't like divorce or whatever, but that was a law that was coming from Allah, and to abide by it, he had to divorce his wives, obviously, yeah, to keep 4 out of 10. Okay, Qais ibn al-Harith radiallahu anh said, I embraced Islam while having with me 8 wives. Okay, 8 wives. This one's got one a day kind of thing. Like, we've got 7 days a week. Yeah, so it's going to have overlaps again. So I went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and mentioned to him my case. He said, keep 4 of them. Okay, keep 4 of them. So it's clear that when this verse came down and everything, the Prophet ﷺ had to shed more light on it. So these people who had more than 4 came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he told them what to do. The benefits of multiple marriages and the wisdom in limiting them to 4. Number one, he may have need in some cases, for instance, the wife may be very old or sick. If he restricts himself to her only, he may not be able to keep himself chaste. So that is like the Sharia is not applying conditions. There's no condition. Doesn't need his wife to be old or whatever. He can take another wife. But the benefits of this now, he's saying, okay, he may have need. Okay, he may have need in some cases where he's in some cases. Okay, in some cases, his wife is old, and to protect himself now from falling into, because his wife is sick or she's old, she cannot fulfill his desires. And if the man is still like has still got a lot of life in him. And if she has children from him and he keeps her, he will fear difficulty for himself by abandoning the marriage, or perhaps he fears committing adultery if he divorces her. She would then be separated from her children. Thus, this problem is not solved except by polygyny. Okay, so if he has children with her now he's going to leave her, take another wife. What's going to happen to the children? She's going to be separated from her children. Already, if she was sick or she was old or whatever, now you separate her from her children. So the polygyny came, and polygyny says, no, stay married to her, but take another one. Okay? And so just a minute. It says that the problem is not solved except by polygyny. Okay. Number 2, that marriage is a cause of strengthening the ties of relations between people. That Allah the Most High has made it a co-partner to lineage. He says, the most lofty says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and it is he who has created man from water and appointed kindred of blood and kindred by marriage. Okay, so when you get married now, whether it's one marriage, whether 2, 3, 4, whatever, you're joining the family. You're not just getting married to this sister and this is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that when we the non-Muslims usually use the term that we cannot befriend. We cannot be friends to the Jews or to the Christians. But Allah allows us to marry their daughters or their sisters. So how can that be? How can that be that we can marry their daughters and we can marry their sisters, but they claim that we cannot be friends with them? No, it's not friends that the verse says, but it's awliya, to take them as protectors. Okay, it's just something I'm just going into out of the subject, but this is building a bond. This is building families here. Yeah. Hence, plural marriages helps to create bonds between many families, connecting them one with another. And this is one of the many reasons which prompted the Prophet ﷺ to marry a number of women. Most of his women were actually bonds with the tribes that was around him. Yeah. The Jewish tribes, other tribes that were around him. So for us as well, when we're going to be taking 1, 2, 3, or 4, we're going to be increasing the family at the same time. Whether they're reverts, whether they're Muslims or whatever, their family is going to become our family. Yeah. Their family will become our family. We're not just just marrying them and finished kind of thing. And especially now this book is talking of the guide to marriage. So marriage, it may mean only one as well. It may mean one, it may mean polygyny as well. So it applies. The same rules apply. Okay. I hope everybody's okay, and I hope, like, you're benefiting from this, because since I've started my YouTube, I mean, even from before, I was benefiting a lot from the knowledge of Deen, because I've always been student of knowledge. I've always been talib al-ilm, always reading, and, like, and everything. But since I've started my YouTube, I have benefited a lot myself, because in order to provide you with material, I have to go out and search. I have to go out and do research. I have to go out and look for books, look for what this one say, what that sheikh says, and everything. So this is why sometimes I like feedback. I like you to come in and give a salam or whatever, and so I know that, like, I'm not talking to myself, basically. And it doesn't matter even if I talk to myself. So, like I said, this is for Allah. Anyway, so yeah, so I hope you're benefiting from this, because I sure am. Okay, so yeah, like I said, the marriage, as a whole, whether it's polygamy or not, it's still marriage, and the same rules apply. Now, number 3, it results in protecting a large number of women, establishing their needs with regards to maintenance, housing, many children, and increased progeny. This is a matter required by the all-wise lawmaker. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in his wisdom, when he created women, he knew that women will be in need, even though a woman is married, is working today. Okay, even if she's working, she still needs a man around the house. If somebody comes to do some work, a man comes to do work around the house or whatever, who's going to stand with her? I mean, come on, like, a sister in her hijab or whatever, standing with men, like, it just doesn't match, does it? So a woman needs a man around the house to do the maintenance, to stay, to anything. She needs a man around the house, regarding to maintenance, regarding to housing, and children as well. Children need a father figure. So I'm not talking of just polygyny here, although this part is talking of polygyny. But in a whole, women need to get married. They need to get married, because a woman on her own, a lot of things will not work for her on her own. Not like these what's her name? Feminists claim that they don't need a man, and, like, they can do everything themselves. Or if that was the case, then Allah would not have made marriage fard on us. In a situation where there's a lot of fitna and everything, it is fard for us to get married. Yeah, for a woman, a man, and everything. And these situations, a woman has a lot of children, husband's dead, or his husband divorced her, or whatever. They need protecting in a large number of women. We can see today, we can see around us. A lot of us, what happens is we fall into a trap that we don't see what is around us. We see only for ourselves. We don't see what's around us. We don't see our brothers and sisters, what's happening to them. So this is why you get a lot of these sisters fall into that trap of, I'll stay alone until I die. I will not get into a polygynous marriage or whatever. Yeah, there's still the rather stay alone then enter into a situation where they'll probably be better off. Anyway, so this is what the Sheikh is saying. Number 3. Number 4, was this? Yeah, William the Creepy Fool. Okay. If you're a Muslim, assalamu alaikum to you. If you're not a Muslim, welcome aboard. If you're a man, you're my sister. If you're a woman, you're my brother. Welcome aboard. And I'm happy that people are watching and everything. Yeah, and I hope you benefit in any way whatsoever. I'm doing this for my brothers and sisters to benefit, and I hope you benefit. Whatsoever. So true, these women who think they don't need a man are out of their minds. True, A woman needs a man. No, no ifs, buts, and maybes. There are some, okay, number 4, there are some men who possess strong desire, and one woman may not be enough. Now, not all men are the same. Some men have higher libidos, higher, testosterone, higher desire and everything. We don't kind of like, because Allah created us differently. Allah created us differently from women, and usually what women tend to think that, like, because of lust, a man wants to get it could be because of lust as well, but that's the way he was created. So fearing that he commits adultery, fearing that he does some, what he shouldn't do, he protects his chastity by being allowed, by doing it, doing the halal way of taking, multiple wives, if he can afford it. If he's the type of man, that's that like, has got the qualities, the finances, and also if he's got a strong libido, he's got a strong sex drive, and it is not something that a man should be ashamed of or whatever. Like, he's got a sort of strong sex drive, so he has to take another wife. No, it's not something that he has to be ashamed of. A lot of women, or even some men as well, think that, oh, he's got a strong sex drive, all he thinks about is sex. No, this is the way we were created, and like, what are we going to do about it? So there are some men who possess strong desire, and one woman may not be enough. And the woman herself, can you imagine a woman now, right? As a woman herself, right? Put yourself in, if there's women listening, or men, or whatever, put yourself in a woman's shoes now. A man desires more sex, more intimacy, right? And his wife doesn't. Wouldn't that be for her some sort of a, like, burden for her? She might think it's a burden kind of thing. Oh, all he wants is sex. So the thing is to take her out of that burden, okay, of thinking is, well, allow the man to take another wife. I've gone through this whole series explaining it's not your fault, you haven't done anything wrong, don't blame yourself. That's the way Allah created men. And there's times, like, times that it has to be done. At the same time, he wishes to fulfill his sexual desire needs by permissible enjoyment. Again, permissible. He doesn't want to do it haram. He wants to do it halal. Well, it's like you have a cat, for example, right? You have a cat. You don't feed the cat. Yeah, you keep the cat locked away in a cage or whatever. But don't go out and look for food anywhere. You're not feeding the cat. You're not giving the cat what the cat wants, or any other animal or whatever. But you're not feeding it at the same time. So isn't that a bit of a injustice kind of thing? Yeah. So this is why This is why it's clear here from the Sheikh that. That's the fourth point that he mentions, the benefits. Hence, it is from the mercy of Allah, the Most High, that He permitted His creation plurality in a safe and sound way. Okay, that's from that book. Yeah, from that book that I mentioned earlier on. If you can get hold of it, go ahead. It's very interesting, especially for those who are thinking of getting married. Those who are thinking of getting married and, like, they're not married, or those who are thinking of getting into polygyny. Yeah, the concise guide, the concise manual of marriage by Sheikh Sheikh Saleh bin Uthaymeen. Okay, so that's one of the books that I wanted to mention. Another thing that I wanted to mention as well, there is a lady who I've mentioned her before on here. I've mentioned her before, and Suzanne Venker. Yeah, Suzanne Venker. She's got she's a psychologist. And she's got a channel. She's got her own channel. She does podcasts and everything. And although she's not a Muslim, but Muslims can learn from her as well. If you go to university, your teacher doesn't have to necessarily be a Muslim. Yeah, your teacher could be a non-Muslim, and you're learning from them. So there are things that we can learn from others as well. That is obviously in halal way. Obviously, they're not going to be teaching anything haram. She has a book. Okay, she has several books, but one of the books that she has is called How to Be a Wife. Interesting, yeah. How to Be a Wife. This is geared to the sisters. If you can get on her podcast, she has a lot of podcasts of she deals with sisters mainly, and the book mentions a few things. It mentions in the different steps. It mentions here 5 ways to get most of this book. What kind of wife are you? The quiz is, what kind of wife are you? Then there's step 1. Don't direct his traffic. Okay, so he's the man. The husband is the man. Okay, don't direct his traffic. Don't you try to take over, don't you try to kind of you know what I mean, yeah. Okay, step 2, take care of your own wants and needs. Yeah, look after yourself, look after yourself, look after your own wants, look after your own needs. Learn how to receive. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, very, very important point. Master the art of respect, whether it's for one marriage, whether you're a second wife, third wife, fourth wife, or whatever, master the art of respect. That's very, very important. A man doesn't like to be disrespected. A man who works, his wife is in the house. His wife is looking after the house, looking after the children. He's coming home at the end of the day. Master the art of respect. Okay. Number 5, she says, move slowly and talk softly. Okay. Interesting. I agree. My William's saying, I agree. My girlfriend agrees too. The only who wears the pants in the house is me. That's right. Yeah. You wear the pants, but the thing is, Islamically, yeah, you wear the pants because you've got that responsibility 1 notch above. Yeah. 1 notch above. Islamically, you've got that 1 notch above only because of the responsibility that Allah has given to the man. Not for anything else. You don't go around I'm the boss or whatever. No. Yeah. That responsibility that you've been given over the wife. This is why the respect comes in. You go out, you work, you pay the rent, you raise the children, you send the children to university. So obviously that 1 notch that Allah gives in the Quran, that you are more. It's called qawama, yeah, qawama. The qawam that you have over her is just because of your responsibilities that you've been given, not because of anything else. Okay. Then it says number 5, move slowly and talk softly. This is one thing men like. Yeah, a good point, and I forgot to add that it's added responsibility for the man. Obviously, yeah. Added responsibility for the man, because the man obviously is going out and working. If he's getting a second, third, he has to work extra. He's got more responsibility, more rent to pay, more whatever. So anyway, he's got more of a responsibility. The 5th point that I'd like to mention: men do not like masculinity. Men do not like masculinity. They like a woman to be feminine. Okay, so if a woman's got masculinity in her, when he's in the presence of her husband, shed that masculinity. Your man will love you more if you show him feminine traits. Your feminine traits, if you bring that more, in front of your husband, he will love you even more, because men don't like masculine traits. Unfortunately, today women are becoming more masculine and men are becoming more feminine, and it's unfortunate. Number 6, she says, be vulnerable. Don't know what she means by that. I mean, she goes into that in the book, but I'm just giving the points. Yeah. And number 7, focus on what you do have and not what you don't. Very interesting thing, because this also deals with gratitude. You're grateful to your man. You're grateful to your man. You got a house. You got a roof over your head. You got your food coming in every month. He does the shopping. You got your car. You got your kids who are looked after. He buys you clothes. He buys you that. He buys you jewelry. He buys. Look, focus on what you have, not what you don't. But it's sad today that the world has made our sisters materialistic. Yeah, become materialistic, and they want things that I'm sure they know they cannot have. But if you're grateful, both of you, obviously, the man will be grateful to you as well. He's coming home, a nice smile on your face. You've cooked a nice meal for him. Of course, he's going to be much grateful to you. So you, on the other side as well, focus on what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Yeah. So anyway, this is the book by Suzanne Benka. If you can get if you can type search her name, she's got a podcast, and she does a lot of she's very feminine, and she does a lot of work to help women stay feminine. So this book is called How to Be a Wife. Okay, so Suzanne Venker, seven steps to a peaceful and passionate relationship with your man. Very interesting, So these bits and pieces, it's good to share. Anyway, we've reached the 37 mark now, and we're going to go back to our book in a minute. I'd just like to remind you once again that you're watching O People of the Book. You're watching your brother Jamal, and Saturday here. Some of you are going into the weekend. Some of you, like me, where I am. I'm back to work tomorrow anyway. So please subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share, because there are so many people out there, who are in situations where they need help, and maybe people who are going into, people who've been proposed, to go into polygamous situations, and they hesitate, they don't know about it, or people who've got misconceptions about it as well, thinking, it's taboo or whatever. So my responsibility as a student of knowledge is to share what I know with my brothers and sisters. Yeah? You take it, you don't take it, it's my responsibility. Anyway, so let's go back to the book now. Okay, let's go back to the book. No, before we go to the book, there's another book that I'd like to share with you from a book called The Garden of the Lovers, an excursion of those who yearn, by Imam Ibn al-Qayyum al-Jawziyah, top scholar, those who know the books of Imam Ibn al-Qayyim. He was known as Sheikh al-Islam Ibn al-Qayyim. The book is a translation. It's a translation, and from the Arabic, obviously, and it's called The Garden of the Lovers, and the Excursion of Those Who Yearn. Now, for weeks and weeks, we've been talking about the factors of turning to Allah. Yeah, the love of Allah, making Allah be your main focus in polygyny. When your husband's taken another wife, rather than make life a misery for you, sister, rather than fight and whatever, turn to Allah. Yeah. So this book now mentions the love of Allah, the desire to get to know Allah more. Okay. First chapter, it says, concerning the desire for Allah and the signs of the one who knows Allah. Okay, so when you're in a situation like this, you turn to Allah, and you need to know Allah, and you need to love Allah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, he starts off by saying, as the desire for Allah, raghaba, wanting him, literally his countenance, and yearning for the meeting with him, then it is the capital of the slave, the foundation of his affair, the basis of his of his life, of goodness, the source of his true happiness, success, and bliss, and it is the coolness of his eyes. For this reason, he was created, and for it he has been commanded. Okay, we're applying this to the sister now, yeah, not just to the brother, because the book that we are reading is applying to the sisters. So the love of Allah here, when it's mentioning he, I'm applying it to the sisters. Goldie Khan. Oh, assalamu alaikum. Oh, good. It's nice to find support. Polygyny was a need in our family. Many reasons, but others frown on us, friends for 20 years. It is something which is misunderstood. Thank you, sister, for mentioning that. Yeah, it is something that is misunderstood by many people, and many people take it as taboo. Many Muslims take it as taboo, and this is why I took it upon myself when I started reading these books to share it with my brothers and sisters, because among the Muslim community itself, a lot of people shun on it. Yeah, a lot of people shun upon it, and it's very it's something as if because of the colonial past, because of the colonial mentality, our sisters and brothers have been left to think that this is taboo, and it shouldn't be done. And for years, like the sister mentions here, for 20 years, others have frowned on them, which they shouldn't do. I don't know what country you're in, but they shouldn't do. Actually, they should be turning to Allah. They should be the ones following the Quran and Sunnah, because it is something that is from the Quran and Sunnah. It is something from Allah that Allah has told us in the Quran, and the Prophet ﷺ has taught us how to do it. You see, it's not something that I mentioned that several times. It's not something that comes from a different planet or whatever. And now we've decided, we find this interesting. We're gonna take hold of polygyny. No, it's something that's been going for centuries and centuries, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to put a cap on it. Full, yeah. Like I mentioned earlier on, the sister, you were not here before, maybe you just come, or maybe you were listening before or whatever. But when Islam came, people had even 10 wives, had even 8 wives. There was no control over it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one who sent the revelation to to regulate it. So for these people who frowning over it or whatever, they should be the ones who should be turning back to they should be the ones who should be turning to Allah. They should be the ones who should be. I have a friend of mine who's new country, us, and old country, Pakistan. Okay, yeah, I have a friend of mine who's in the UK, and he was the first one of the first person that I invited. If you go back and watch, I think the first or the second episode, there was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who is in the UK, and he's got multiple wives as well. And he explained how when he took multiple wives, his family shunned him. Yeah, he's from the Asian subcontinent. He's from Pakistan, as well, I think. And yeah, and he instead of his family looking up to him, that day, he's taking another family, he's feeding another family, he's looking after another sister, he's giving the sister dignity or whatever. They shun him. So this is something that they should be the ones who should be turning to. Right. Okay. Well, as they see we're doing good, family is okay, and his friends, wives think it's contagious or something. See, this is the thing. We've reached a stage where people have drifted away from Islam. drifted away from Islam. A lot of people today, like, you ask people about the footballers, you ask people about the movie stars and everything, they can name you hundreds if you want. But you ask them to name you the Ashara Mubashara, the 10 Sahaba who went to Jannah, were given the glad tidings of Jannah before their death, they wouldn't know. So this is the reason as well that I'm doing this, to encourage our brothers and sisters to come back to the Quran and Sunnah, to look at it, according to the Quran and Sunnah, and to change their preconceptions, that their misconceptions that they had about it. And this is why I like it, when sisters and brothers come and we interact on this, because sometimes there's ideas that I get from them as well. Anyway, so Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah here mentions, for this reason he was created. It's talking about man here, yeah? And man has been created for this reason. The messengers have been sent and the books have been revealed. Also for this purpose, there is no rectification or bliss for the heart unless its desire is solely for Allah alone. Mighty and majestic He is. Hence, He alone should be his desire. Man's desire, yeah, what he seeks out and his goal. As Allah exalted has said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, so when you have finished your occupation, devote yourself for Allah's worship, and to your Lord turn your desires and intentions. Quran chapter 9 verse 7 or 8. This is the thing that's happening today, is that people have become too materialistic, and they're turning away from Allah's deen. And this is why what Allah has prescribed, that Allah has decreed, is becoming taboo. And Allah says in the Quran clearly, what Allah and His Prophet has decreed. Who are you to have an opinion? Clear in the Quran. Yeah. Who are you to have an opinion on that? Like there's sisters saying there now that her family was shunned for 20 years basically from her own her own people. But why? Because they don't know the Quran. They don't follow the Quran and Sunnah. And this is decreed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that a decree came down for the laws of polygyny, which were already there. Islam didn't invent it. So why do you shun something that was already there, that Islam came only to clear the fog? Yeah, there's a lot of fog around it. People were doing it the way they want, how they wanted, and everything. There's a lot of injustice going on, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed that verse, making it clear that 2, 3, or 4. So starting from 2, if you cannot, because Allah knew that there are people out there who were doing injustice, then stick to only 1. You see. Then Allah goes on to say, and He, the Exalted, has also said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, would that they were contented with what Allah and His Messenger gave them, and had said, Allah is sufficient for me. Allah will give us His bounty, and so will His Messenger. We implore Allah. Okay, so this is chapter 9 verse 59. And if you can get this book as well, it's a very nice book. It's called Excerpts from the Garden of the Lovers, an Excursion of Those Who Yearn. This is the love of Allah. It's bringing the love of Allah in our hearts. If we don't have the love of Allah in our hearts, how can we practice, or how can we accept things like polygyny? How can we accept that? Yeah. So it's a very interesting book for those who can get who can get hold of this book as well. It's translated into English. It's written originally in Arabic. Anyway, so let's get back now to our text. Last week we left. One sister was writing her diary. Okay, she was writing her diary. For those who didn't watch last week. After so many years of marriage, suddenly her husband took polygyny, took another wife. Now, what happens is that when she got married to her husband in the beginning, she mentioned that to him, and he said, I don't have the what was the word he said? He didn't have the desire for now. Okay, for now. Which means that things can change. Which means in our lives things change. Circumstances changed, and we changed, and I moved to a foreign country. I moved to a foreign country 30 years ago. Okay, 22 years ago. During that time that I moved to that foreign country, my children grew up, got married, and everything. Things changed around me in front of my eyes. Yeah, things change. So obviously now that husband, after 5 years, he decided he wanted to take another wife. He still, if you followed me last week, you will see in her diary, he still loves his wife. He doesn't hate her or anything. She's thinking he hates her. So every time she's writing in her diary. Now we reach May 28th. Okay, she's like talking to her diary now. Talking to her diary. Dear diary, I read my last entry and laughed. I didn't tell you how the telephone conversation went, did I? She's talking to the diary now. Well, like I said, he asked me how I felt about polygyny now. You know what I said? Give me the time to understand a little bit more. He laughed at me and said that I was coping out. But he did say, okay, what's up now, you ask. Well, we are all about to move into a new house. You remember she lost her house and everything, and she was staying at her parents, and he was staying at his parents as well. So she's about to move into a new house. They're still married, but they got separated because of that. Yeah. And I have to get back into the groove of things, being a wife. I'm looking forward to it. I miss being his woman. May Allah put me through this. So maybe Allah put me through this, so I could clearly see that I don't want to be without him. Anyway, I have decided to strive for success in my marriage. What do you think of that nosy book? She's calling her diary nosy book. Anyway, so she reached a stage now, okay, before she was very unhappy. She was thinking of divorce, and she was thinking, he hates me, I hate him, I don't want to know him. Now what's happened, the separation that they've had between them, okay, the separation that they've had between them has made her change her views now. Yeah. See, the sister's saying, if he's mature in deen and emphatic for, he will, brother. Sorry. Let me put that up so I can read it. If he's mature on deen, emphatic brother, he will choose wise. My co-wife, 42, no mother, never married, no kids, takes care of elderly father. That's good, alhamdulillah. Then there's another one from brother Willem. Willem's got a photo. Is that a sister or a brother? I don't know. Anyway, I was in Jerusalem and climbed up on a ladder and yelled, "Praise be to Allah." I walked up to the IDF soldier and said, "Salam, brother." They shook my head and smiled, and we went our separate ways. That was risky, that was very risky, because they don't care who you are. If they want to take you down, they'll take you down. So you have to be very careful. But that was brave anyway. Yeah. So anyway, going back to the book now, yeah, you see how things are beginning to change with her now. In the beginning, when her husband had performed the deed, he showed her that he still loved her. He bought a ring for her, and was all kind to her and everything. And she was kind of having thoughts. Now they've been separated for a while. They lost their house, and now they're going to be getting a house back again. And she's wanting to move back in to the house. She's wanting to be a wife again. So it's changing now. See, this is why when we read the book from the beginning, in the beginning there were, tables and everything for those who followed it. It showed that there are certain emotions, certain feelings that are only temporary. They're only temporary, and you shouldn't dwell on those feelings, because if you dwell on those feelings, you could wreck your marriage, you can wreck your family and everything. Whereas now, like, what she's done is she's stayed away from him. Now she's longing to be back with her husband again. Yeah, and it says clear. I could see clearly that I don't want to be without him. So divorce is out of the question now. Yeah, divorce is out of the question. So you see how wise it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separated them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made her feel that if I was to ask for divorce from my husband, I would really miss him. I would want him in my life. And this is why there's a lot of sisters today who've been divorced and who need to get married. Don't give me this thing that, like, I don't need a man, I could do it on my. No, you don't. You need a man in your life. You need a man in your life, definitely. Okay. Anyway, June 30th. The entry for June 30th. That one was May 28th. Seems like every month. Yeah, every month she's entering, or if not every month, every I don't know. Anyway, I've been afraid to write in you, but I need to write because I feel I'm walking around in a bubble of contentment. My relationship with my husband has greatly improved. See what I mean? Yeah, we are more loving to each other, and I feel as if he really does love me. See, that time when he was trying to prove to his wife that he loves her, and he bought her a ring and everything, and she wasn't happy. It happens. It happens. I'm not saying that a woman cannot be jealous, and she shouldn't be jealous, but you need to know how to control your emotions. Okay, so now she's beginning to love her husband again. She's beginning to feel normal again, and this is how it should be. Take the example of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Take the examples of them. Take the examples of Aisha radiallahu anha. When was it Juwayriya radiallahu anha? When she came to the Prophet's house, when she knocked on the door, she was so beautiful. She was so beautiful that Aisha radiallahu anha, she gave, I think she brought in some food, and Aisha radiallahu anha dropped the plate in order to divert the Prophet ﷺ's attention. So the Prophet ﷺ turned to the plate of food and picked up whatever, and his attention was diverted from Juwayhira's beauty. So this woman as well, the same thing now. Her husband got married. She got so angry, wanted to leave, wanted to fight, wanted to whatever. If you read the previous entries, now relation has changed completely. My relation with my husband has greatly improved. We are more loving to each other, and I feel as if he really does love me and does not say it because I do or out of some obligation. He also shows me it now. He is more affectionate. The major change in this behavior, I think, is due to my understanding. Listen to this carefully, sister. Listen to this carefully. Sisters who are listening, listen to this carefully. Let me repeat this again. The major change in his behavior, I think, is due to my understanding and acceptance of his getting married to more than one wife if he desires. Your husband would love you more. Your husband would love you more if you don't make an issue, if you don't if you understand and you don't create problems, then he will love you more because he doesn't want to. I mean, we read in the previous previous episode. I think it was the one or two episodes back. The man doesn't want to lose his wife. He doesn't want to leave her. Yeah. It's the woman who's not happy. She's the one who wants to divorce or whatever. But if you show your man that, okay, I accept it. I'm weak, no problem. Allah has created me weak. Allah has given you that one notch over me. Allah has given you that one step, that one notch over me because of your responsibilities and everything. I agree that I'm weak. I agree that, I am jealous, but I accept it. Yeah. Okay, yes, don't make emotional, yes, brother. Yeah. Don't make emotional rash decisions. Let it roll and see how it goes. MashaAllah, many issues were resolved. Good communication and support. That's right. Communication and support is very, very important. Yeah, and like she mentions here in her entry, yeah? The fact that she showed her husband that she's accepting and she's understanding, that got him to love her more. Yeah? It is amazing to me that I can even write that sentence without feeling any pain, because almost 1 year ago, I could not even bring myself to think, let alone write about the issue. Yeah, if you remember, if you go back, if you didn't watch the previous issues, go back and unfold the entries that she was putting in her diary. And in the beginning, a year ago, her feelings were totally different, and now things have become totally different. And it's amazing, she says, that even that she can even write the sentence without feeling any pain. She was saying that the pain that she was having in the beginning, now it's gone. Khalas, no more. Yeah, but now I feel as if I'm beyond crying and going crazy and endangering my ticket to Jannah. You remember I mentioned that several times. I mentioned that to sisters. Yeah, Allah has given you a ticket to Jannah, and all you have to do is to be patient, accept it. Yeah, control your jealousy, control your anger, as long as the man is fair on that side. I'm not talking about only you have to do everything and the man hasn't. No, if the man is following his what's the name, according to the Quran and Sunnah, he's doing what he needs to do. Yeah, and you do what I've just mentioned, then it's your ticket to Jannah. It's so easy for you. Allah has made it so easy for you. Allah, on the day of judgment, the man will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's the one who's going to be answering whatever injustice is made to you. He's given you a pen and didn't give the other one not a pen. Maybe she doesn't need a pen, but the value of that pen, he's given you and not given her. He will have to answer to that in front of Allah. So the thing is that, Allah has and the sister herself is saying, but now I feel as if I'm beyond crying and going crazy, endangering my ticket to Jannah because my husband wants to do something halal. Remember, always remember that, sisters. Yeah, if your husband came in, he gambled all the money, and he came in doing something haram, he came in and he smelt of alcohol, would you have the same? Sit down and think about it, right? If your husband came home, he was earning good money, okay, roof over your head, big house, big car, you got everything you got, but every now and again you can smell a bit of alcohol on him or whatever, or he was gambling or whatever, what would your attitude be? Would it be the same as if as him taking a second wife? I don't think so. There's some sisters who might let it pass. It's not affecting me. He's he'll get over it or whatever. He'll stop or whatever. But why is it that your attitude, that these things were haram? Why is it your attitude is different when he does something halal? What if he had left that halal and went and, for example, found a girl from outside, or a girl in his office, or whatever? Things are going on between him and a girl in his office. Would you have preferred that than him going and doing something halal? Yeah? So the sister now, because after a year now, she's gone through what she's gone through, yeah, and now she's beginning to realize, I also refuse, if there is anything I can do, to allow my children to grow up without a father. Think about that carefully, my sisters. Think about that carefully. The amount of kids that are on the streets when I say on the streets, I don't mean like, no house or whatever. No, they're on the streets because, like, they're with friends. They don't have a father. Like, they don't have a proper father to guide them or whatever. So they're out on the streets playing with friends and whatever, trying to look for that attention somewhere else. Why? Because mother didn't accept. The father took another wife, so she decided to ask for khula or whatever. Yeah. Think about that. Think about it. You have that right. That is your right. I'm not saying it, that it's not your right or whatever. But before you exercise that right, I mentioned that a few lessons back. Yeah. Before you exercise your right, think about it. Think of what you can what it's going to do. Okay, so she refuses. If there is anything, she said, I can do to allow my children to grow up without a father. Yeah? She refuses to let that happen. Okay, and in this case, it involved me changing my view on certain things. My eyes were tired, and I will come back to you again, inshallah. Okay, so that was June 30th entry. Now you can see how things are changing now. We've reached the 105 mark, and I'll go on for another 15, 20 minutes. As I said, this is a lesson. These lessons, we cannot do this in shorts, and I cannot do part of it and leave part of it or whatever. So I do take time on it, and I do explain as much as I can on it, and so that you can benefit as well. So I hope you don't mind that, I make it 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or whatever, and at least it's beneficial to you. Okay. Okay. Okay, so remember that you're watching O People of the Book, and please subscribe, like, and share. And also, when you're going to consider this TV, remember the Muslim apologist, Brother Muhammad, and also Brother Muhammad of Coventry Faith Foundation. He's on the same cover, on the same Consider This TV. We'll have Abu Zaid as well. He comes. He's on the same but he doesn't come on that much. But he does have a channel there. So all of us who've got a channel, please like and share. Yeah, subscribe, like, and share. And like I've been asking you for weeks now. Although I'm not doing this to get them likes, but please, increase. Come on, please, increase my I'm 448 now. I'm on 448 subscribers. Let's bring it to 500. Come on. The amount of effort that I've been putting, the amount of bring your friends, mention to your friends as well, those who are in this situation, those who are, thinking of going into this situation. I'm sharing what I can. Anyway, so let's carry on. July 9th. It's night time. I feel as if there is a special bond forming between me and between my husband and I. So there's a special bond forming now. Yeah. Remember 1 year back, she hated his guts. She hated his guts, didn't want anything to do with him, and wanted to leave him or whatever, and because he'd taken another wife. He even bought her a ring, and she didn't care about it or whatever. Now what's happened? There's a special bond forming between her husband and her. This makes me feel afraid somewhat, because I don't want it to go away, but only get stronger. I'm tired of making myself out to be this needy person that constantly needs to be reassured about love. I have so much running through my mind lately that I'm beginning to feel depressed. Sometimes almost nothing is how I want it to be within my house or myself. I desire so much to be a good Muslim, but cannot unless my salah, my prayer, is straight. Very important, sisters, brothers. I'm not talking to just sisters here, but brothers as well. Remember your salah. Yeah, remember your salah wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Even if you're in a non-Muslim country, if you get there's a room, an empty room, you can ask for permission to enter and pray or whatever. Here where I am, and I'm in a Muslim country here, and we have masjids all over the place, and even little rooms where we can pray or whatever. That's not a problem for us to keep our salah, but it's still shaitan still tries to get us to forget our salah. But anyway, I have tried so many different methods in hopes of establishing tahajjud in my life. Everything has failed. What else can I do? Without my tahajjud, I will fail. I am tired. Okay, so now she's coming back to Allah. She's coming back to Allah and trying to find. Wait, this is the thing I just mentioned to the sister Goldie, yeah, about the fact that these people who are shunning polygyny, they don't have Allah in their lives. They don't have Allah full 100% in their lives. They're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So you do something that is Islamic, they're not happy about it. But they tell you, yeah, we are Muslims, we practice our deen or whatever, but they're not done on the Quran and Sunnah, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the way of the Salaf. No, because if they were, they wouldn't be shunning this. So this is why now we have to return back to Islam the proper way. Okay, so now that was July 9th entry. Okay, we're going to go to July 18th, which is the last one on this page, and we're going to finish on there. Okay, July 12th now. Today was another day of cleaning, bathing, and rearing my house and my family. In some ways, I'm bored with the monotony of the activity, but all in all, I get used to it. There's no stress, or at least not what it used to be. Rabia is crying. I need to figure out what to do with her. I think she's got a daughter called Rabia or whatever. Anyway, now you see something now. The fact that she's in polygyny, she's finding things to do now. Okay. She's finding things to do, cleaning, rearing her house, her family, and she's bored now with the monotony of the activity. Okay, but now she's beginning to do things in her house, and this is the advantage, the benefit of polygyny for a sister, that she doesn't realize that she has time on her hands. She can do whatever she wants when her husband's not with her. She can do whatever she wants, things she's been wanting to do for a long time. She hasn't been able to do. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. You got 2 days, depending on what arrangements your husband has made. If he's taken you, for example, you're in a different town and he's in a different town, and he travels to that town, so he'll be there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then he comes back and spend 1 week, 2 weeks with you. You've got that time on your hand, 1 week, 2 weeks, or whatever. Or if it's just 3 days, you've got that time on your hands. Yeah, learn the Quran. In fact, your salah or whatever. Learn Arabic if you don't know Arabic. Do something. And this is what's happening to this sister now. Yeah? Another day of cleaning and whatever. Sister says here, Sister Goldie. Let's read this. Yes, I garden, books, listen to scholars, grandbaby, work only part-time. No worries about housing bills all the time. It's like being 12 again. Right. You see, this is the advantage. A lot of sisters don't realize the benefits. Yeah, the benefits of that. You've got the time on your hand. The sister's saying she gardens, she reads books, listen to scholars. Maybe when the husband was there breathing down her neck every day, she wasn't able to do that. I don't know, sister. I'm saying that you are in polygyny, aren't you? I'm just guessing. For you to mention that, you're doing that. You must be in the polygyny. But anyway, so she's got the time to do all this. Okay, we'll do July 18th, which is the last paragraph of this page, which is 173, and then we'll call it a day. Today, I lost control of my frustration and took it out on the Hasana for not knowing the color yellow. when I yelled at her for something so stupid. I felt small and pitiful. I did apologize to Hasana and continue to teach her the colors, but the incident made me see that I need to get control of myself. So I think she has another child now called Hasana. Okay, and I think she shouted at her or whatever, and she couldn't control herself, and she's realizing now that she needs to control her emotions. Okay, I need to get control of myself. I know part of the reason that I'm sleep deprived, but this does not give me the right to take any of my frustration out on my daughter. My goal is to increase my patience and make anger a non-part of my life. I feel it is very possible for me to get there. I have made significant progress already, especially with my husband. We have not had an argument since he was living with his mother. I have more than learned control of my tongue. Important, very, very important. Remember, we spoke about that in the other episodes or whatever. The control of the tongue, what you say and how you say it, and everything. And okay, I don't say what comes to my mind. I take the time to see if it's even worth talking about it. You remember in the beginning we mentioned, the sister doesn't care; she just comes to her mind and she will say, and it will cause havoc. But now she's realizing it. She's beginning to I'm in medicine, polygyny. 1 second, let me click on that so that I can read it properly. Okay, I'm in medicine. Polygyny done right decreases the male heart disease by 40%. Oh, that's good. That's a good advice then, yeah. Okay, so we have to advise the brothers that, if they do good polygyny, if they do it well, it decreases the rate of heart disease. Okay, so brothers who are watching or who will be watching in the future, or whatever, or pass it on to others, yeah. Polygyny done right decreases male heart disease risk by 40%, and this is fact by Goldie Khan. I can vouch for that. Goldie Khan, she's in medicine, and she's saying that polygamy done right decreases male heart disease risk by 40%. Thank you very much, doctor, for that advice. Okay, so then, okay, we'll finish. We're reaching the end now. I just don't say things that come to my mind, but take time to see if it is even worth talking about it. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, if it is, I wait until I can talk without being angry. And when it is a relatively good time, I love my family and my life. It's time to sleep. Okay, so that was the last what's the name for that date, which was 1 second, which was July. Okay, which was July. Yeah. Okay, so we will end here now. We will end here. Yeah, which was July 18th. Okay, July 18th. She made that entry, and yeah, June 30th, July 18th. Yeah, July 18th. So the next entry now will be July 27th. Okay. Okay. My sister's saying multiple studies. Okay. So yeah. So next entry is July 27th. So we will catch up with that next week, inshallah. Okay. We've reached page 174. For those of you who have the book or can get hold of the book, please do. It's a very interesting book. And the time, I keep repeating this, yeah. We're in a crisis and we have to find a solution to that crisis. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us polygyny as one of the solutions for it, the main solution for it. Although a lot of people are turning their their nose to it. They don't want to know about it. Yeah, that's because the weakness of the ummah, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned how weak the ummah will be. Yeah, so I hope you've benefited from this. Yeah, I hope that you've benefited. We're at the 118 mark now, and I'll finish here. Page 174. Next week we're going to do July 27th entry. You see how things are improving now between her and her husband, and how polygyny is, becoming different for her now. Yeah, it says here. I'll just give you one line of what July 27 says. I'm searching for a friend to talk to. Okay, خلاص. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll get back to this next week, and like I said, I hope you benefited from this. This is my main purpose, my sole purpose is for my brothers and sisters to benefit. Whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching it after a few days, after a month, whether one day I'll be in my qabr, and you'll be watching it, and I will be getting the rewards for it if you benefit. And as I mention all the time, I'm a student of knowledge. I'm not a scholar. So if I made a mistake anywhere, please forgive me. I'm weak, and please make dua to Allah that I can I can get more knowledge to share with my brothers and sisters. Also, maybe even before I finish this series, I'm thinking of another series now. Me and a special guest. I've got a special guest. I'm not going to mention who the special guest is, but I got to know somebody who has a PhD in Islamic studies, and we'll be, inshallah, doing a show. We'll be doing a series of either the tafsir of Juz' Amma, or we'll be doing what do you call it? The Sirah, the Medinan Sirah, because I've done the Meccan part already. I've done the Meccan part only until where the Prophet ﷺ does the Hijrah. I will probably do that and then move to the next part. But we have to discuss it, that person and I. We have to discuss it, inshallah, with your blessings as well, with your du'as as well. Allah will give me more knowledge to go through that, and we can bring you more content. So, like I said, anything that was wrong comes from me, and anything that's good that you that you benefited from comes from Allah. If you have any questions or whatever, I mean, I'm happy that you interacted. Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair. I like it when my audience interacts. If you do have any questions, although I've answered also almost all questions, so I don't think I'll take any questions anyway. But yeah, so we'll finish here, 121 mark, and inshallah see you next week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحان ربك بعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and I'll see you next week inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Take care everyone.